episode 4 of season 2, we sat down with Kai, aka Headlock from After Hours. Now, if you're from Adelaide, After Hours, they were around early 2000s, late 90s. They were right there as Hilltops, Crossbred, all of those crews came up. He tells us how he got into music. He tells us some stories from back in the day. Talks about some car shit. We talk about martial arts. It was a good time sitting down with Kai. He's a very interesting fella. Talks about certified wires, how that got started. If you're into hip hop, you will enjoy this episode. Kai.
Adam.
How we doing, mate?
Good, man. How are you?
Very well, mate. Very well. Trained before, got to experience Luke Marco attacking me.
I've also experienced Luke Marco attacking me. Makes me feel very bad about myself.
That level of tism and strength, like he really has the potential to be a world champion.
I know, right? Like, we just need to get the Asai into him.
Bit of Jesus, bit of Asai, and he could be the next Gordon Ryan.
I know, he definitely could. It's messed up because he's been training like 4 years or something, 5 maybe.
Yeah.
I saw some interview with him, like a video, and he was like, "Yeah, it started 4 years ago or something." It's like, that's unfair.
And the only thing that I was concerned from that video was there was eye contact, and he spoke quite well, and I was like, maybe he's not going to be autistic enough.
No, we've got to stick him with some vaccines.
We'll give him some vaccines and
give him some mRNA shots.
And then he'll beat Gordon.
Yeah, that's right. Mate, alternate like the bomber with the vaccines. Just
every other day will be a new vaccine, and then testosterone and tren. Off to a cracker start.
Yeah.
Mate, I met you, probably 12 years ago, I reckon. You were taking Ben Martin, Debris, and a couple of the other guys to go to boxing. So
yeah, they used to call it AIDS.
AIDS, that's right. Yeah.
AIDS, because they would come on like the conditioning night. You know what I mean? So there's like, you know, you do skills night, sparring night, and whatever, and then there was like the conditioning night, which was fucking filthy. Like it was real hard, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to get in shape," so they'd come to that one, and it was like the worst one to come to them. Like come to the skills one because you still get like fit, but it's not as offensively like hard. And they're like, no, and then they'd come and they were just like, "Oh, it's AIDS."
We weren't living the healthiest too. So,
no. Like,
that would have been
sweating out their sins every time.
Exorcism.
Yeah.
So for me, meeting you, I remember you had this crazy red Evo. So you were the martial arts guy with the nice car.
Yeah, I love that car.
Right. When you put it up for sale, I was like, I wonder if there's a way.
Yeah.
I was too interested in spending my money.
They're worth a lot now too. I'm like regretting selling it. It's worth like twice as much as what I sold it for.
Yeah, some of the old cars that you couldn't give away, like old Sylvias and
they're worth a lot now.
The 180s. Yeah. Oh my god, eh?
Yeah. All the stuff that people used to put like sideways into trees and stuff. It's like now it's like worth cash.
It's almost like our parents with Tiranas or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're looking back going, fuck.
Yeah, I wish I had that.
We all had a mate that wrote one of those off.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like 1600s. When I was young, it was like Datsun 1600s and rotaries like RX3s and RX2s and all that. And now those things are worth like stupid money.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, like a good one.
Oh, to know.
Yeah, everyone did. I know. Like if I knew, I would have just stocked up on cheap R32 GTRs or something. Just have like a shed.
Yeah, actual way. Well, especially now you can send them over to the States for a stupid amount of money. But for me, it was funny because I knew you as the guy with the cool car and the martial arts guy. And then it was a spin out for me because when I was 21, I moved out of home for the first time. I lasted 8 months. I moved in with my best mate from high school, Surly, and he had this gold iPod Mini full of Aussie hip hop, like every name you could ever imagine, right?
Yeah.
And I'd always listen to Draft,
and After Hours.
Nice.
I never knew that you were Headlock from After Hours when I met you.
There's a reason that I liked you, Adam.
Yeah, well, I always like, man, this guy's got to start doing jiu-jitsu if his nickname's Headlock.
Yeah, well, you know, it was you and like Reels mostly that made me start doing jiu-jitsu. So
Oh, no shit.
there you go.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, because I tried it, I don't know, in the like mid-2000s. And I went to like SABJJ when they were on Prospect Road.
Yeah.
Michael was like a purple belt.
The Toyamas, man.
Yeah.
Legends of Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Adelaide Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, I went there. It was like a pretty small class, and I gave it a go because it was right into MMA, Love Pride, and all that.
Mm.
And I was doing Muay Thai, I think I was doing Muay Thai at the time. I was like, yeah, I want to do that, but I had like a real fucked back. I did like one class, and then my back was like fucked for like a month. And I was like, all right, maybe that's just not for me. And I circled back to it. I don't know when I started, 2014, and it was like you guys were like, no, come to where we're doing it. Come to ISO, and Matt's like, you know, the spine guy. And I did that, and it was like a much better experience because I was way less spazzy by then.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, it was grown up a bit, and I was like, oh, actually, maybe I can do it. And yeah, just stuck with it. So, but yeah, it was like you and Shane, I think. They were like, come down. And
I tell you what, there isn't somebody I wish would step back onto the mats more than Rules, because
I know.
There's a few people in my life that can make comments that give me an eye twitch. Craig's being one of them, my other mate Adzi, and Rules.
Yeah.
And he'll make comments, and he could sign up to a jiu-jitsu gym in fucking Alice Springs, and if I knew he was going to be on those mats at 6, I would break the land speed record to give him a hiding. I remember we were sparring one night, and you just landed body shots on me that I still think some of my organs are bruised still to this day.
That's when I was boxing. And because you're a big tall and your arms are like longer than my entire body, I was like, I just got to get to this guy's body. I'm not going to try to punch him in the head. It's too far away, you know. you
hit that liver and all the toxins just
like
release.
Every shot, it's just like, there's a weekend again.
Yeah. Elysium Lounge.
Oh, that's sugar.
But yeah, that always spun me out because, like I said, during high school, everybody was into Hilltop Hoods, After Hours, and Funkors. And I was almost at the other end where, because they liked everybody so much, I was like, I'm not fucking listening to this.
Yeah.
I was big into Blink-182.
Yeah. Mr.
Korn,
Jones 182.
Green Day, all the pop punk, you know, and then the new metal stuff.
Yeah.
So moving out at 21, finding that iPod, and the cool thing was I guess I got to listen to all the old stuff first, and then I went back, and you know, I remember one of the first times I met Pressure, I told him that one of the first songs I ever illegally downloaded on Napster was 1979, and he just gave me this look like, this cunt. And then you know, so I guess I got to experience that era before some of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
You were right at the start of what I would say is like the bubble that exploded with the early 2000s. What do you remember about that time and how everything sort of kicked off?
I remember when Matt did 1979, like all that Matter of Time and that. And Matt was living just down the road from where I am now, actually, like in sort of Cairo. And he played it to me, and was that then? My brain. So punching the head to me. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, like when that album came out, like it was one of those albums when you're like, oh man, this is going to go further, I think, than what people think. And it kind of around the country, everyone really got into it. But I sort of mostly remember like their first one, Back Once Again.
Yep.
You know, it's like just, I don't know if they did a CD. I think it was just a vinyl. It's just an EP. And because I remember being at Chris's house like, from After Hours edits, and they just got the pressings back, and, you know, we caught up there to have some drinks and stuff, and like, yeah, we got the pressings and put it on and stuff. And I was like, man, these guys that I kind of know from getting drunk in the park and rapping have done an actual record, like, and it just blew my mind that it was possible. And then obviously, you know, they did more and more from there. But that was like the kind of the moment, like, man, these guys are doing this. I guess kind of anyone can, you know. And we were around that time. I think we were kind of like, yeah, maybe we should start doing some stuff, because everyone just used to get together and just like get drunk and fucked up in the park and just like
classic Blackwood shit.
Classic Blackwood shit, like the Roundabout or Apex Park or Corinna, basically, with the three
Coles Car Park.
Yeah, the Coles Park. But if you're up there, like, it was mostly the Roundabout. Okay, the Roundabout's funny. Like, anyone of a certain age from down south knows about like the Blackwood Roundabout.
Yeah.
I don't know how it became such a thing. I think it was like, what are we doing tonight? I don't know. I'll meet you at the Roundabout. We'll get some drinks and we'll figure it out. And then more and more people are just kind of like, oh, there's so-and-so at the Roundabout. Let's just go there. And then it would just be, oh, let's just fucking stay here then, you know, like, because you just take a beatbox with you.
Yeah.
You know, with 100 people at the bloody Roundabout, the cops chasing you and everything. And it's like, yeah, back at the Roundabout.
Yeah, that's unreal, eh? Any of you guys... did you guys do the gnomes on all the buildings?
No, but yeah, I don't know who does that. It's like some
Blackwood
it's like
law,
the
right?
Batman of Blackwood.
Yeah.
With gnomes, like way less fucking impressive. But
yeah,
we stole other things, but not gnomes.
So you guys, when you started, you know, your first recordings and stuff like that, had you done any shows or anything, or? Yeah,
so back in those days, the Flagstaff used to be the spot.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, they'd throw like local hip hop nights. I'm pretty sure it was Madcap who was throwing them.
Yep.
And you do like an open mic, and you kind of get up, and you know, it'd be a bit of a big deal, like, you know, do the open mic tonight, you know what I mean? And you get up and you freestyle. If it was good, you know, it was like you'd start to build a little bit of a, like, oh, this dude can actually rap sort of reputation. And if you were shit, then you didn't want to be shit. And he was doing that, and I think we did one of those at some point. I'm trying to remember where our first show was. It was all a bit of a blur. It was all stuff like that, like Flagstaff, and then Kirk and PJ were putting on heaps of shows, like pulling strings, like Kirk, Matt, and PJ, Matt Ward. Those three guys were kind of doing pulling strings, and they were just like, well, we'll put on our own shows, you know what I mean, and doing like Hoods and Mongrels and just whoever. And yeah, so we did a lot of those, obviously, being mates with them.
Yep.
And yeah, that's, you know, like all the oars and everything kind of ended up doing that as well. Like, just became this outlet for hip hop, and the interstate guys too, like the pulling strings guys that always, you know, hook them up with shows. So yeah, I can't remember exactly where our first one was. I want to say it was like a Flagstaff show, but I'm not positive. But yeah, it was that kind of thing, like just those smaller gigs, you know, 100 people sort of thing. And the biggest show we ever did in those days was like our first record launch, and I think we had like 400 something people, and that was a pretty big turnout back then. I don't even know how we got that many people. We kind of was like, how'd this happen? You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a good night. Like, we got all these like blow up sex dolls and threw them into the crowd and stuff. And like the Oars they performed as well. Oh no, actually it wasn't Oars, it was CS9. They were still CS9 at the time. And like they were kids, they were all underage. And Checkmate and Nuisance came over.
Oh, sick.
And they performed together, and you know, we had to sneak them into the venue because none of them were old enough, and that was their like first show.
Checkmate, another martial arts.
Yeah, another rapper. Man, Checkmate once, like, I can't remember the scenario where this occurred, but basically it was like I was holding this CD and he was going to punch it as hard as he could, like, oh, I'll fucking show you this, you know what I mean? I'll show you my punch. And honestly, like, that dude, you know, he did some fucking kung fu breathing shit, and that was like one of the hardest fucking punches I've felt that hasn't hit me in the face, obviously. Like, I'm just holding the CD and it's like, focus! And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, that kung fu shit works, man. Like,
So it all seems like such a wild time. And I remember guys at high school trying to go to these early day gigs. And, you know, you'd always hear about all the graff that would happen.
Yeah.
And these shows would have been all the things we used to hear about with graphing up the toilets, and then hip-hop shows wouldn't be allowed back there.
Yeah.
Is that those days?
100%.
Yeah.
So they had a real love-hate relationship with us, right? Because everything got bombed. Like the toilets just got murdered, and you know, outside of the toilets too, like everything got bombed. But the hip-hop crowd spent so much money at the bar.
Yeah, of course.
So they loved it because they made heaps of cash, but they hated it because of all the graff, and it was this real like
their profit to
you got a few venues that were just like, we're not doing that again. Like everything got bombed too much. But then a lot of them were like, yeah, you can come back. You know what I mean? Like try to tell people not to bomb the toilets.
Probably makes them do it even more.
Yeah, you put signs up like, please don't bomb the toilets, and they'd just fucking rip them off and just
tag over the side.
Yeah, tag over the toilets. It was a pretty, you know, meat and potatoes sausage party crowd as well, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's funny, you know, we were out the other week and we went to that punk, well, not punk, yeah, it was a punk show. Like, yeah, that Young Offenders were playing at.
Yeah.
And there were like girls in the audience, and I was just like, how do these guys get girls for their shit?
Yeah.
And we never got girls with our shit. Like, I reckon probably less stuff would have got bombed if there were females in the crowd.
Probably, yeah.
But it was because it was just all like drunk dudes who were
Nike wearing.
Had something to prove. There'd always be a fight or something. I remember one at that record launch I was talking about before. Someone fucking like pushed my mum over.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like my mum's in the crowd, and this, I don't know how it happened, like why this dude picked on a, you know, middle-aged lady. He's like turned around and just fucking shoved her, and she's like hit the floor. What the fuck? And then he got chased out. Like 100 people chased him down the street. And I don't remember the dude's name or anything like that. I remember I was going to I think it was Clinic 116. Yeah, when they were upstairs in the Maya Centre, we used to buy wax and stuff there. The guy was like, "Oh, so and so." You know, he just wanted, he came in and he just wanted to say he's really sorry about with your mum and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's not cool, man. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I was pretty dirty about it, and it happened a few times, and then I was like, look, it's all right, man. Like, and he was like, the guy wants to apologise to you, and he came in, and I don't know how that got teed up, but. Came in and he fucking, like, he felt so bad, like, had in his hand, like, I'm sorry, like, I drank too much, and I was like, it's all right, bro, like, she was fine. Yeah. You know, I think you fucking suffered enough, you know what I mean?
You're a pretty imposing character, so he probably thought he was going to get his head kicked in.
Yeah, he's a big dude too, but I think he was just like, I think he realised, you know, like, that's not some shit you can do. A lot of people were hunting for him for a while, but... it was, you know, she was fine. It was all good.
I imagine at some of those early shows, there would have been some wild shit going on. Do you, besides someone assaulting your mum in the crowd, what's some of the, you know, whether it's fights, just someone being stupid drunk?
Yeah, it'd always be like a fight. And most of the time you'd have no idea what it was about. And then, you know, whether it was just like a little, you know, biff in the corner and, you know, someone had to leave or whatever, or, you know, every now and then someone might be a bit worse, someone might get stabbed or something. That didn't happen a lot, but then you get the big, you know, after show blue out the front. And like the cops would just like roll in force, and I can't remember who it was. It might have even been an Ore show. It was something that was at the German Arms or something that. One of those places, and we ended up at the Rhino Room, and it just turned into chaos. There was some massive punch on, and like all the cops rocked up, and then people were punching on with the cops.
Oh shit!
And then the Starries rocked up, and it was just like people getting dragged away left, right, and centre. And it was just like, what's happened here?
That's going to be on Today Tonight.
Yeah, we had a party up in the hills that was like that. It was one of these things where the dude, like, he fucked up. I don't know how, but word got out. Like, yeah, everyone come to the party, and it spread like through the suburbs. You know what I mean? Like out of the hills and into the plains, and people were coming from everywhere. And there was like, I don't know, it would have been over 1,000 people at this party, sort of thing. And you know, the cops had rocked up because there were noise complaints and whatever. And I was outside, and these two guys were punching on, and the cops have come to like break them up. And then next minute, I see the two cops running back to their car with like 20 people chasing them, and they're like, you know, calling backup and stuff. And then there's helicopters and paddy wagons and, you know, starries and stuff, and people was just like spreading, and that was on the news and stuff. That was a good night because I didn't get locked up. It's all right. It's all right if you're not the one getting locked up.
I'd always hear stories about the Blackwood days, and I grew up in Aberfoyle Park. I didn't go to that high school, but there was always the stories about the Hub boys and the Blackwood boys having some beef.
I feel like it was a friendly rivalry.
Oh, no
mostly.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there'd always be some shit that would go on, but because like Simo and all that from Aberfoyle.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I've been, you know, I was hanging with them for a very long time. But I do remember, like, you go to a party in Aberfoyle, there'd always be this like Blackwood and shit. But then, you know, it's like, hey, Simo, what's going on? And then it'd be all right because you know someone and vice versa. And then at a certain point, it was just Aberfoyle and Blackwood were almost the same thing. It's like,
just merged.
Yeah, just merged. It's like we're each stronger together. You know what I mean?
I used to work at the Bilo at the Hub, and if I worked on a Thursday night, they would send me out to go get the trolleys.
Oh,
and the amount of times
I would
go, dude, I would go out there to collect them, and like I would have been 15. I didn't have my license then. Mum and Dad would drop me off, and I would walk out to this car park because I knew that was where a majority of them would be. You know, people would wheel them out there, and I'd just walk up and I'd see, you know, 10, 15 people with trolleys on the side, jumping on the side of them, and they'd look at me, and I'd be like, and I'd just turn around and walk back in. I'm like, all the trolleys are in, and you could clearly tell they weren't. And my boss would be like, and I'm like, no, there's lads out there getting the trolley poles, and he's like, all right, just stay.
Yeah, you don't need to be on the receiving end of the trolley pole.
The Hub weapon of choice.
Yeah, the trolley pole kung fu, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone had a trolley pole.
With how many did you guys do tours like interstate and stuff?
We did one, or maybe two. So it wasn't so much like a tour. We were always like real unmotivated.
Yeah.
Like we'll do a show if it's easy. Like if someone asks us to do it, we'll do it. But we're not going to like go out of our way to arrange anything. So we did one in Melbourne for sure. We did a couple in Melbourne because that's easy. You just drive over and, you know so many people in Melbourne.
Yeah, of course.
I think we did one, might have did one in Canberra. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Actually, I might have. Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah.
I think I've got a flyer somewhere. It was a stealth thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's good old stealth mag. They did a compilation and we were on it.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, we went to Melbourne and did Culture of Kings and that, and just a couple of other things. But yeah, we never really toured. Like we never really tried to be more than just, I don't know, dudes who did some hip hop. We probably should have.
You guys had like I said, people at school used to talk about you, like, you know, even the questions. And when I put up you the other day with some, you know, ask a question, there were quite a few people that mentioned how much they loved After Hours.
They're all legends, every single one of them.
You mentioned Culture of the Kings. I had Seti on earlier. He mentioned that as well. Certified Wise. Now, this is infamous.
Yes.
You know, and you find it on YouTube. Some of the boys might not want that to be known, that you can still find it out there. You can't. Can you tell me a little bit about how that all came together? Because that was like a super squad.
Yeah, it was a super squad. So it was like Flack, I think, really kind of was the driving force between putting it together. I might be wrong about that. like I said, my memory sucks, but I'm pretty sure it was flag. And it was, to start with, it was like the Hoods and Mongrels and Terra Firma and us. I think that was it, right? And then, because we were all hanging together anyway, like we're all kind of really good mates, and we're all performing on each other's shows, and we're basically just, it was like we're all one crew. It was a heavy hitting squad. It was a decent squad. Yeah. Like the first one, on Culture of Kings, whatever it's called, 13 MCs and 3 DJs. Yep. That was the original squad.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it actually kind of came together for Culture of Kings. Like the idea was already there, because it was kind of like, I think, looking at it kind of like the Juice Crew or one of those things, you know, like the old school hip hop where it's like a bunch of different artists that go under one big umbrella sort of thing, you know, stronger together. And so we did that, and Dimes did that Culture of Kings compilation, and we did the posse track for it. 13 MCs and 3 DJs, I'm pretty sure it's called. And then that was like the genesis of it. And we're like, yeah, sick, all right, let's just keep rolling with this. And we'd always, you know, like have each other on our songs and albums, whatever. And then over time, it kind of got bigger and bigger. It's like, oh, we know Trauma, he's really good. Let's see if he wants to be a part of it, or Collapse. And, you know, just Blockade. They were the kind of next guy. No, actually, they were already part of the first one. And then, over time, more people kind of just kept getting added to it, and it became this, like, almost got too big. It was like the Roman Empire. It couldn't manage itself anymore because everyone was in it. And then I guess it all just kind of stopped when, you know, we all just, a lot of people stopped making music, I guess, you know, so.
Life gets in the way.
Your life gets in the way. It's kind of why I stopped. I got to a point where it was like, didn't enjoy it that much, and I wasn't making any money from it. So I was like, why am I doing this? I don't have a lot to say anymore unless what people want to hear about my electricity bill. I kick a fucking fat 16 bars about my water bill, you know.
Well, I mean, I got some bars sent to me the other day for a little apprentice battle at work.
Did he win?
That he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. But
I need to know the outcome.
The talent's still there.
Yeah. Every now and then I'm like, man, I might do something. Like I hear a beat, and I'm like, oh, it's nasty. I'm gonna write some shit. And I write like, you know, 4 lines or something, and then I'm like, I'm gonna come back to that, and I never do.
Yeah. No, it's. I guess it'd be one of those things that you you probably hear stuff all the time, and you know you get sort of keen again. But
it's hard. Like I'm so busy, man. I've got 3 kids, job, you know, wife. In sports, it's just I don't.
You do martial arts. The kids do martial
I'm
arts.
taking them to their sports and doing my own sports and been working. You know, it's kind of hard. Like I can't even get to a live show. I'm so old, I don't even enjoy live shows. It's like it's loud. It's too loud. I'm in the crowd like.
I love the idea of going to a live show, and then it's the anxiety of leaving, trying to get a fucking cab.
Yeah.
And then do I make that bad decision and go into town with the boys? And then that'll be.
At what
4
point
to 6 a.m. in the morning. Exactly. It is a trip to hear the stories from back in the day, and like I said, especially with everything. When I went to high school, you guys were like everybody's, idols. I went to school down south, and all the lads on casual day would be in their Nike shit, and then. It was always talking about all the hip hop and then all their school books, tags and shit. And I never really got into any of the tagging and stuff like that. A few years ago, when I first moved in with Ben Martin, they took me, him and Kay took me to do a tag.
And really? You went bombing?
I wrote "dick fuck" on the fence of the neighbour's house, and then I ran back. But yeah, it always is interesting to like look into that, because it was such a, it seemed like such a crazy time.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was like the fucking primordial soup almost. You know what I mean? Like it had already been happening. Like obviously, Death Wish Cast, AKA Brothers, all these like old school legends of Aussie hip hop. But I guess for people my age, it was like you hear this and it seemed sort of inaccessible. Like, oh, that's really cool, but how do we do that? We can't really do that. You know what I mean? And then, well, obviously everyone's into it and just hanging out and doing it in our own way. And then, yeah, like the hoods and that kind of, you know, and mongrels were like, started releasing stuff. And it's like, yeah, we can do this. Like, fuck it, let's just do it. And then I think as well, because the internet, like ozhiphop.com is the fucking mothership.
Yeah.
Because you're doing stuff, and then people are like, you're interacting with everyone, and people are like, well, they're doing it, I can do it. And you're able to talk to people interstate and stuff. And it became more accessible in the terms of you didn't need to go to a studio to make music. Because I guess when you're young, you kind of look at it like, oh, how am I even going to do that? Like, where do I go? What do I do? Well, we started with like, you know, one of those back to school special computers, like an old HP. Like Chris had one of those, and he would go down to his, no, actually, even before he had that, he would go down to his mum's work because she had the computer, he didn't have one. And he'd hook up, like, he'd get breaks off a record and put it on a tape, take the tape deck down there and record it into the computer.
Oh, what?
And he had like some software on the work computer. He'd like loop it and like make like a beat, and then would rap over that. And then he bought the little fucking cheap HP computer and put something on it. I forget what the program was. And we started doing that, and then it kind of got more complicated from there. But it was just like learning all this shit on the fly. And it stopped being so like overwhelming. It was like, I will just do it the way that we do it. Got like an SM58 mic that probably got stolen from a show somewhere. And hooked it in, and we just did our demo tape, which was terrible. But it was like a proof of concept. It was like, hey, we can actually do it. Like, this is not good, but you know, like we can improve on this for the next one and do like a proper album. And you know, everyone was kind of doing that. It's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And so, you know, other people around were doing it. And then because of like ozhiphop.com and the internet, those people were all able to interact with each other and share knowledge and tip and meet each other. And that's how you'd hear about a lot of this stuff. So it kind of really just started blowing up instead of being like, oh, it's those guys, I've never met them. I don't, you know. It was like you'd just be talking shit to someone on a forum, and they'd be like, "Oh, you know, I made this song." It's how like we met Trials and that. Like Kirk met Trials through like chatting on fucking IRC or something, and Trials sent him his music. He was doing the same kind of thing, you know, like just doing stuff at home. And it was like, oh, this guy's really good, you know. And I started chatting to Trials as well, and we got on, you know, like we've always been like. Got on really well, like really similar personalities, similar sense of humor and that. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, let's just do some music. And we did some like, you know, he did his demo, and we went down there and did some music and shit. Yeah. And
it really, like, I don't know, like you'd hear things and stuff like that, and the hip hop back in those days seemed like such a hostile environment, like as far as like what would happen at shows and stuff. But all you guys really did help each other, and I feel like that, you know, I guess it's similar to Jiu Jitsu, you know, like there's obviously a few peanuts out there, but a lot of us all work together and we got this strong community. Yeah. It feels like those days was
very
massive on that.
Yeah, because I think, you know, in the past and that, there'd always been, you know, like beefs, and it was mostly like graffiti beefs and stuff, you know, like this crew, like someone went over their piece or whatever, and you know, you'd kind of have those beefs. But then as the hip hop grew a bit more, I think people became less tribal. Do you know what I mean? Like oh, we're from fucking down south. And, talk to the northerners and stuff. You'd go to the shows and you'd meet guys from like, you know, like Vince who's from out west, or dudes from out north, and be like, no, you know, like, we're into the same shit. We're doing the same stuff. Like, why the fuck would we hold each other back?
All the same creatures, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So it became less like tribal and more like, hey, let's really grow this. And it was good, man. And yeah, you know, going to your point with the jiu-jitsu, I feel like, I don't know, I guess I've not been involved as long as you have, but I feel like it's kind of heading that way a lot more, where people are trying to. You got everyone's cross training everywhere, mostly, and everyone's building each other up. You can kind of walk into almost any gym and go, "Yeah, I'm from wherever," and they're like, "Hey, yeah, come train."
Yeah, it's very different to when did I start? 07, 06, I think I started jiu-jitsu. Fuck, that makes me feel old. But yeah, like very different to back. Back then it was everybody did their own thing, whereas now, and I think a huge part of that is everybody wants more tournaments. So whether it was us doing the round robins with M16 Open, or what Jesse's doing with AGL, because there's so many more opportunities for us all to get together. And if everybody competes and does, well, you don't have to compete obviously, but like everybody's trying to get better, the whole state gets better.
Yeah.
And we've had some pretty incredible athletes come out of here. My dickhead brother Declan, the other guy we don't talk about, and then I was only saying this today, like you go back to SABJJ. I saw Greg Toyama at the last Open, and I was having a chat to him, and I actually said to him, I was like, it still trips me out that you just decided one day you were going to go do Masters Worlds at black belt and you fucking won it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to throw a guy like that in the conversation as well, because if it wasn't for that guy, none of us would have ever been able to compete. Like they were putting on the first shows, SABJJ were one of the first clubs in Adelaide. And then, you talk to a lot of the guys, a lot of the black belts around that have been black belts longer than me. That's where they all started. Or it was it BTT down at Torrensville, I reckon, in the back there, behind the West Theberton pub. So it's like, it's a trip to see it now. And I actually razzed Greg up. I was like, mate, let's get you on the next Open, eh? And he said, if you find me a Masters 7, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So
you'd find someone for it.
Yeah, for sure. So that's that. Well, you know what I mean? And if, in a few, I'm going to hit him up. I'm going to go down to SABJJ. I've never actually trained there.
Yeah.
I'll go down there when I know there's some people doing some no-gi.
Yeah. Put the gi on, bro.
I don't want to put the gi on, bro. I did it the other week, man, and my hand still hurts, hey. In saying that, I did break my hand last year, so never went to the doctor, but dickhead, eh?
Doctor is for pussies.
Yeah, exactly, eh? And
going to the
doctor now the knuckle sticks up even bigger than it did before.
Yeah, I got one of them as well. Once from fucking punching someone. I know we've talked about, you've shown me a bunch of music over the years, right? And I reckon possibly there was even a time where you would give me music and post it on my Facebook wall to check it out, because you knew I was new to hip hop. And R.A. Rugged Man, Nas, never forget, I met Nas. Yeah.
But R.A. Rugged Man was, I know you said he was one of your favourites.
Yeah, he's
and
sick.
I really got around him. What are some other artists that you know,
like currently, or just
or any time, like you know, maybe when you were younger you heard and you were like, what is this? Or
oh god, there's a big list. Man, like when I was young, like I'm just thinking of the high school era, because that was when you're discovering a lot of this. Like for me, it was anyway. Like I first heard hip hop, I think in primary school. Someone gave me a tape with like NWA on it, and it had Run DMC on the other side.
Sick.
And I put it in, and I'm like, because Phil was swearing. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah. yeah.
But I didn't really understand a lot about it. I was just like, yeah, the swearing music.
What did the police do?
Yeah, fuck the police. But yeah, in high school is where I started to learn a lot more about it. And like Souls of Mischief, to me, is still one of my like all-time, like 93 Till Infinity is one of the best albums ever released. Like Illmatic, obviously, your mate, Nas. Yeah.
There's this hand.
Yeah, all the De La Soul stuff as well, like Master Ace.
Yeah.
I remember, like, so back then, you couldn't really pirate stuff. There was no internet. So you had to trade tapes.
Yeah.
So you had to have something someone else
and
wanted.
make the tape copy,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, you'd go get something, like, that no one else had, or it's like, oh, you got the Master Ace album? Like, I'll trade you the, I don't know, Mobb Deep album or something for it, and they're like, yeah, and then you'd copy it for each other, and that's how you built up your collection. It took me forever to find something someone wanted for Master Ace. Like, it was so dirty because people would be playing it. I'm like, oh, well, I need this. I'm like, give me a copy, and they're like, nah, bro, what do you got? Like, and I was like, I'll give you this. Like, I already got it.
Oh,
It was so dirty. I think I was one of the first people to get Raekwon's album.
Yeah.
When they built for Cuban Links, and I milked that pretty hard. I was like,
was that the one they referred to as the purple tape? Or
yeah. This was like, I think, when did that come out? Like 95, I think. So yeah, I got a lot of mileage out of that one, and you know, like the Mobb Deep album and stuff. Like I got Bums Life and Time, great album.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of it. I milked that one for all it was worth as well, because you'd get like, oh no, you give me those two for this one. You know what I mean? No one's got this.
I started getting tapes. I remember back. I used to go into Rundle Mall. We'd never go into the city when I was a kid, but every now and then we'd go in, and I remember I had like a bunch of Korn tapes. I had Marshall Mathers on tape, and I had all these tapes. But then CDs started to take over. You know, tapes were sort of dying then, and I have a laugh now because all these little cunts, they can just plug in a spot anything they want.
Spotify,
mate, they never had to rewind
the tape with the pencil. Had to do this with a pen, you know what I mean? And never had to get like dodge fucking townies like coming out of Central. Like, you get rolled every time. You know what I mean? Like, every time you went to the city, it was like fucking strolling through Baghdad almost. It felt like, you know, you go down there like 13, 14 years old, get off the train, there's all these like cunts at the Maya Centre with their fucking hats like this. I don't know, maybe I'm too old.
Yeah.
But like they'd rock them like this, and they'd just be fucking looking at you, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna get rolled today.
T explained to me, you know, someone asked you what size your shoes were.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, you know,
it's like, I'm gonna lose these shoes, man. Like,
not your size, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, nah, man, my shit's busted. You wear your worst shit. Like, if you go to the city, I learned that, you know, like the hard way a few times. Like, rock my fucking fresh Charlotte Hornet hat, just fucking off the head. And you'd turn around like, hey, and just be looking at a knife like, Yeah, and you come out of Central Station, man, and people would just be fucking like predators just waiting for you. Like, what have you got? I'm going to take that off you.
Oh, wow.
So you had to like pick your times and stuff. You got to go like when people are leaving work and shit.
Yeah,
when you were safest.
More witnesses.
Yeah, and then when you get older, it's all right. Like, they'd just pick on you when you're younger.
Well, it would kill me because I'd save, you know, my money up, and what was a CD might have been like $20, $25, and there was one song that I wanted. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I buy the single, it's got some bullshit on there. So I'd buy the album, and I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, this song's sick. And the rest of the album would be garbage. And I'd be like, the amount of money, I had a huge CD collection, and I was a piece of shit. I would just leave them out. I'd get out of bed, step on them, break the case. And there's still a few that I have. I got some Blink ones that I've looked after, and some Millencolin ones and stuff like that, like the bands that I really loved. But then I think about all the money that I wasted.
Oh, dude, tell me about it.
And then, you know, you go to someone's house and they'd have the CD racks, and the first thing I'd do is go in there and like, look, oh, fuck, you got this. And, you know.
It's like that with vinyl for like hip-hop guys. Like, collecting vinyl was the thing. I don't know how much money I spent on that. Still got it all, and it just sits like, I've got a shelf with all my records in it, and all the kids' toys are in front of it. I can't even get to my record player anymore.
What are these, Dad?
And I'm like, I should sell it. And I'm like, I want to like listen to them one day. You know, I'll be like 65 or something. Just looking, yes.
It's funny. We've got a vinyl player, and it's got like, it's wireless, so it can go to the speakers, right?
Yeah.
And I'll put something on, and I'll walk away. And I'm doing my thing, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And then I have, and I'm like, fuck, this must have been real inconvenient back in the day, but it is cool. It does sound good. I swear, though, like, I'm not getting the true experience because it's wireless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I need a cable.
I reckon that's probably, like, that's something vinyl nerds say to justify the money they spend on it. Like, it's got a more richer tone. Like, fuck off, man. Like, you're not listening to it on a fucking VR headset or something. It's like, it's coming out of a speaker. It sounds like music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it was more like, you know, in the hip hop world, it was cooler, and B, because, you know, people DJ and shit, and everyone wanted to be a DJ. I tried. I was shit at it. I could never scratch. I learned how to beat mix, and that was about as far as I got.
Yeah.
I kept trying to scratch, and I just ruined my records.
It'd be hard. It'd be expensive fucking thing to get into too. I feel like.
Dude, yeah, like just the amount of records you need, and yeah, like you spend so much money, and turntables are expensive. And yeah, I kept like when I got old and I had like actual money that I could spend on things, I was like, I should get some turntables, and then I looked how much they were. They're like, you know, over $1,000 or something each, and I'm like, I'm not spending $3,000 on a fucking 1,200 setup, you know.
The funny thing was, besides, and I mean that's what with Serato, so it's not even records. But I remember, I had a weird introduction to it because the first time I ever watched someone scratch up close was Total Eclipse at our friend's Bucks party, and that's like watching Anderson Silva in the cage.
Yeah, I know.
And
right?
I was watching him spinning around and shit, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Okay, this is pretty cool." And then, you know, we'd watch clips of, is it Scratch Bastard that does Emperor, the Star Wars track?
Yeah.
So good, bro. So good. It'd be cool if there was more.
Man, it's a solid skill. Like, it's something I really wish I could do. Like, if you get on YouTube, look at DJ Babu Blind Alley routine. It's still the best beat juggling routine. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, sick. I'll definitely say
yeah, it's one of those skills you see people do it, and you're just like, oh fuck, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, and the guys like the old school way of doing it with actual records is so much more impressive because you got to know where everything is. Like in Serato, you can, you know, like program things and just kind of, yep, that's where it is. I'll start there. The old guys that had bits of sticky tape and shit, and they just kind of, you know, like,
yeah. It's an art in itself, eh? How did you get into martial arts, boxing and all of that?
So when I did a little bit when I was a kid, but never seriously. Like I tried Taekwondo when I was in primary school, and
we'll start with that.
Yeah, we all start with that, don't we? It's like, you know, do all that.
I got the yellow belt. I couldn't do the splits, and I was like, I'm done here.
Yeah, I did like a few lessons. And I just went, this sucks. This isn't for me.
Was it chummy or something? We used to say at the start and bow.
Yeah, and then when I was in my early teens, I tried Muay Thai. There was a place up in Blackwood that did it.
Is that Young Lions?
Or? No, it was before that. The guy, is it Rav? Rav from Ravi? Something Raj? I don't know. I think it's Rav.
Yeah.
Who does Young Lions. He was one of the students there. I was in the same class as him, learning Muay Thai from Dave Hussey.
Okay,
There's two Dave Hussies I found out. I trained with a Dave Hussey who's a Jiu Jitsu black belt.
Oh, no shit.
Did Muay Thai, and then there's a different Dave Hussey that also did.
Classic.
Anyway, I did that for a little bit, but I hated running. I was like, I don't want to fucking.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I kind of quit that because I didn't want to run.
Yeah.
And then, I started to live a very fucking unhealthy life.
Hip hop unhealthy.
Yeah. Like just too much of the good stuff. And,
yeah.
You know, I was 23. I was like really I was overweight and I was just sick all the time. I just felt like a piece of shit. And I was like, no, I gotta get my life like fixed up, and I wanted to quit smoking. And Mark One, who's like a rapper, guy that I know, he was doing Muay Thai at Fight Club with Sam Benetti, and he was like, oh, come and train with me, bro. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do that. I remember Muay Thai, like, it was good, and that's what I need. And I went down there and I did the class, and I fucking nearly died the entire time. But at the end, it was like, man, the last thing on earth I want right now is like a cigarette or like a drink or something. And I was like, this is what I need. Like, if I'm doing this, I won't do that other shit. And so I kind of, you know, like I never stopped drinking because it's fun. But like, I just cut back on that and went on a diet and, you know, quit the smokes. Like that took a while, but I did that. And I was just like, I'm just going to get stuck into this to get healthy. And I just really loved it. And it was hard, you know, it was really hard. And you don't realize how shit you are at fighting until you go into a fight gym and have it explained to you with someone else's fists. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the first time you do sparring, you're just like, fuck, I'm useless. You know, like you kind of think, particularly like if you're a big dude, like I've always been fairly big, like, yeah, you know, I'm big. Man, like it didn't matter. I was just like getting lit up by little guys, and I was like, right, I don't know how to fight, so I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
And I did that for a number of years, but it kept fucking my back up because I blew up my back when I was 19.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I had a herniated disc, I had to have surgery and all that.
Yeah.
And the Muay Thai, just all those kicks, just heaps and heaps of kicks, it just kept fucking it up. And so Sam was like, "I'll go see Anthony Bruno at West Central, which were at the time in like a little, almost like storage unity type of thing, like industrial thing, like didn't have signage or anything. You had to know someone to train there." And he's like, "Yeah, go see them. I'll put in the word for you." And I went down and met them, and they were like, "Yeah, cool, you can train." And that's how I started boxing, because it was just, by the point I'd switched, the Muay Thai was mostly boxing for me anyway, because anytime I threw a kick, it fucking killed me. So I was like, I'll just work my hands. And I was like, well, might as well just go to boxing gym. So I started boxing, and that was great. Love boxing. Young man sport though. I don't know that I'd take it so seriously these days. I do like the Saturday session at Aruda with Steph. Who used to also be at West Central, and Steph's a legend. Like, shout out to Steph. So I still get my little taste, an hour while my son trains, and it's like, yeah, that's
sparring
for me. Like every now and then, just light. Like I don't want to get smashed.
It's hard to get. I remember I used to live for sparring. And I'd be like, fuck yeah, I think I'd watch Vanderlei Silva videos and shit, and then I looked nothing like him when I spar, but I'd go in there and I wouldn't mind eating a shot. And now the thought of it, I'm like, oh. Like I want to jump back in, and I've been entertaining an idea, maybe.
I'm too worried about how much of an idiot I am already. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm halfway to retarded anyway. So it's like taking more punches to the brain is probably not a great idea.
That's a good point, actually. I probably don't. With the abuse I've put in this body from extracurriculars over the years. I don't. And the problem is, if I start training striking again, because I'm such an evil cunt to everybody in the gym. They're like, I mentioned it the other night to someone. He was licking his lips.
All the guys who's like rash guards you pulled over their face, who are like sick at Muay Thai or something, or just they're like, I'm gonna fucking get.
Oh, dude, they're all of them, eh? They, little young Crane, he's dying to get it, and I was like, bro, you can fucking throw punches at me, I'll still take you down. But. Well, I don't know if I'll pull guard, but and then Ryan Cooper the other night was like, I thought you were coming in tonight to spar, and then I look, Miles is in there sparring, and I'm like, I can't. I've caused him too many headaches and been too much of a problem for me to ever let him spar me. You know what I mean?
He's just
he'll take
get
out
his revenge.
7 years of aggravation on me.
Chop your legs until you can't walk anymore or something.
And I mean, after I broke my leg and calf kicks became a thing, I was like, I don't know. That dream might have sailed, but I don't know. I'm thinking about. I'm going to jump back in and do some.
It's good fun, man. Like, I like that now. There seems to be more of an attitude that light sparring is a good thing. Because when I was doing it, sparring was more just like a fucking fight. It was like we're just fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the amount of times I drove home, like just fucking, like.
If I didn't have a headache and a battered leg after sparring at
like,
Southside,
why does the light hurt? So, but now it's a bit more. I've noticed people are a bit more like switched on to the fact that you shouldn't kill yourself in the gym.
Like,
because so many people's careers get fucking ended in the gym. Like in boxing and all that. That's where the damage is done. So why would you just feel a bit lighter and live to tell the tale, particularly if you're not trying to be a pro fighter.
And even some of the boys you've seen over the years around Adelaide and stuff that have just jumped in for a few amateurs and they get battered, and I'm like, oh my God, I know how sore I am after, like I said, I trained with Marco earlier, and like it was a pretty. We don't try and kill each other. We worked a bit of tech and stuff, and then we did a couple of rounds. But it's like if I was going 100% with him and he was going 100%, I know I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I'm going to be sore tomorrow regardless. But yeah, the idea of kicking each other in the fucking and punching and
I always like I stick by this. Like I love Jiu Jitsu and stuff, and no matter how sore or whatever I am afterwards, I would always prefer that than the way that I'd feel after like hard sparring rounds.
Yes, yeah.
Because you might be like, oh, my arm's sore, like I can't walk right, you know, like my back's fucking seized up or something. I'll take all of that over feeling like I've just lost half my brain cells.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, mate, I do have some questions written out from there is a very oddly specific one.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to that, right?
All right.
The best battle you've ever seen, whether that's maybe hip hop battle, maybe someone in the park back in the Blackwood days. Is there anything that ever sticks out that maybe?
Best battle. I never got really into battle. You know the battle rap thing where there's two guys who basically just speak at each other.
Yeah.
Like you do this. You, with your apprentice.
Yeah.
I never really got big into that. Like I'm not shitting on it or anything. I realise the skill it takes to say some fucking mean shit about someone, but I used to like the sort of old school like freestyle battles, like Juice and Eminem and all those guys.
Yeah.
Do those. And yeah, actually that's a good example. Like Juice and Eminem had a battle like way back in the day. That was a really good one. There used to be, oh god, what was the name of it? There's a freestyle battle competition in Adelaide. Vocal Lords. I think it was Vocal Lords.
Oh, no shit, yeah.
And you'd enter and you'd have to like battle each other and stuff like that. There were some crackers there. I couldn't really remember too many of them. Seti did some. Like,
did he?
Yeah. Someone called him fat. And
that's such a fucking... I remember seeing like, there was I think K battled 60 and they just dissed K for being fat. And I was like, come on, cunt.
Yeah, they called Seti fat, and I can't remember the exact line, but it was something like, you know, why would you even risk it? Yeah, I'm fat because every time I fucked your mum, she gave me a biscuit. And I was just like,
Incredible.
Yeah, there was some bangers like that. So it's hard to put my finger on one. That one stuck out of my mind. I'm going to go with that one.
We'll go with
I don't know who he was battling. Someone who he fucking got.
Yeah, that guy went home. Mum, do you have biscuits around the house?
What kind of biscuits you got, Mum? It's not Monte Carlos, is it?
This one, Chris Penrose, right?
Yeah, Penrose.
We, we try to make our comp look inclusive, you know what I mean? So we threw a dog a bone, gave this guy an opportunity to ref, and he's actually turned out to be one of the best refs. Definitely by far in South Australia. I would put him up there in all of Australia, and I say that because we need him for our next show,
that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's I think he's trying to start a fight here because he's asked, is Judo better than no-gi Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh, Jesus Christ. See, if I say anything, I'm going to be in trouble with someone.
Yeah.
For me, this is purely personal, subjective opinion on what I like. I like no-gi. I like no-gi. I don't like it as much as most people do. Everyone's like, yeah, it's fucking sick. To me, it's like, it's the good, but it's like it's not for men my age.
Yeah.
It's too scrambly and slippery and too much athleticism. I'm not fucking athletic. I want to hold on to someone and just like fucking slow down.
I will say the other week when I did the gi rounds with Caleb, grabbing a fistful of cloth,
choking someone with their own clothes or your clothes is one of the best feelings.
I've said this a bunch of times. The bow and arrow. There is nothing more satisfying than bow and arrow choking someone, and you come around and you look at them, and you know, if you get a bit over the chin, you know what I mean. See, I think Caleb, I had it in his mouth, his jaw was open, and it was coming across, and it was like there is, you know, the best grappler in the world likes to watch. I like to watch that. You know what I mean. I
like the gi. That's my thing, and this is controversial opinion. So many people are going to be like, "You fucking idiot." But I prefer watching judo than BJJ just because I love seeing someone get fucking thrown.
Oh, they're incredible.
Like, like there's stalling in both. There's bullshit matches in both. Like even in no-gi, like I think
let's watch 15 minutes of fucking neck ties.
Yeah, exactly. Like two guys fucking clubbing each other and stuff like that. If I want to see someone get thrown, I want to see them get thrown good. And like judo there's nothing like watching someone get fucking yeeted like with a sick judo throw. So
is it Travis Stevens or
Travis Stevens?
He's got a black belt in both, but he's a big unit too.
Yeah, he's
and I've seen some of his throws, and I'm like, that would fucking kill me.
Yeah, and you watch, it's always one of these things when you watch like Olympic judo, you got to sit through so many matches where people are just fighting gripping games until they get to penalty time, and then someone, it's like, oh, that wasn't too exciting. But then someone will fucking destroy someone with the biggest throw you've ever seen, and it's like, oh, that was worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's like Shohei Ono? He retired not long ago, but he won everything, like 2 Olympics, more than that in world championships, and he'd just fucking fling people. And like even the girls like Abe Uta, like she came out at the last Olympics and just like off the grip just threw this chick like to another planet. It was just like and so like, I enjoy watching no-gi jiu-jitsu, but there's none of those moments in that for me. Like when you just see a thing and you're like, it's always like, like he's got the heel. It's like, yeah, cool, all right.
Yeah, unfortunately, not every match is a Cade and tap it.
Yeah, see, that was one of the best fucking things ever. Like CJO was sick. Like, your brother killed that. That was such a good show.
It's bizarre that he pulled it off. All credit to Seth Belial for
that Cade and that Rotullo match, the Tacker. That was so good. I've watched it twice. I was just like, oh, this is so good.
Bananas.
It's one of those ones, where you're trying to explain a sport to someone.
Just
like, why is this good? You just give them that. Yeah. Like, there's always...
Only thing I've ever been at, any combat match, whether it's MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, anything, where the match is finished and an entire crowd is yelling out one more round.
And they both would have been like...
Well, the funny thing was, I remember Craig sort of like looked, and he sort of looked at somebody like to go, do we just fucking do it?
Yeah.
And then someone was like, no, we can't. We got to keep moving on.
Got to keep the rules consistent, right?
But that was. I still remember years ago, one of the 2008 or maybe 2009, we had a state titles, and this slippery gypsy of a black belt judo guy came in and entered. He entered the white belt division.
Oh, that's not cool.
Now, there was evidence that he had first competed in judo in the late 70s.
Yeah, right.
As a kid, right?
Yeah.
So this man had been competing for a long time.
Yeah, and he's just showed up to the white belt division.
And he threw a guy off the mats and broke his shoulder.
Yeah, right.
And he didn't intentionally throw him off, but it just landed on the side of the mat and exploded this guy's shoulder.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, and he was the Silver Fox.
Yeah, Silver Fox. Yeah, I remember one, there's always that one guy. There was that one Grappling Industries and someone who was like a collegiate wrestler or something in the States.
Oh, yeah.
And he
fought our lad Marek,
Yeah, and he went in the beginner division in no-gi and just mauled everyone. It's like, come on, bro.
It would be fun.
Yeah, I love a win as much as the next guy. That's why I'm in the kids classes.
They really need to. I mean, look, I love rolling and tormenting white belts and blue belts, and look, if I could enter AGL in the white belt division, I'd fucking do it.
Yeah.
And just highlight everybody. But yeah, I don't get that, And you'd like to think maybe you give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they didn't know. Their coaches knew.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But it makes for a good story.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how much is that gold medal worth now?
Yeah. No, 100%. All right. So this is a very, very specific question. I don't even know if he maybe he looked on your Instagram and saw that you're into BMWs.
Yeah, probably.
A guy called Robert Dart, right?
Yeah.
He's a funny cunt. What's your thoughts on the reliability of BMWs, or precisely the N54 engine?
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's sad, but I do kind of know a little bit. So the N54 is known for being fairly solid in terms of the amount of power you can make with it with tuning.
Mm-hmm.
Like guys are making kind of 500-600 horsepower without, like building the engine. I don't know if they're reliable. I know that they're considered the stronger of the N series motors. There's like an N54 that they replaced with an N55.
Yeah.
This is so fucking sad that I know this shit. Yeah, I know the N54s are stronger of the two.
Yeah.
That's about what I know. Both 3-litre turbo motors.
Incredible.
Yeah.
There you go, Rob. You got the answer.
B58 is better though.
Really?
Yeah, B50. That's the one that's in the new Supra. The new Supra is like BMW built it and then Toyota rebadged it, sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the B58 apparently is sick. Like
they should have just rebuilt the 2J and fucking throw it in there.
I know. Well, people were like, it's not a 2J. Some like, I don't know why. Like I watched on YouTube fucking car shit, right?
Yeah.
And some engine builder was tearing down the B58 and he was pulling it all apart and he's like, this thing is awesome. It's got this, it's got that. This will make heaps of power. I think he got like 1,000 horsepower out of it. Like he built it. He did pistons and shit. But yeah, he was like, this is like the German modern 2J. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Best memory for yourself personally from your hip hop days?
Best memory of my hip hop days. Honestly, I think that first album launch, hey? Because it was just we were like, is anyone going to come? Like, we didn't know.
Yeah.
And then we packed the place out and it was just it was a great night. Like, it was just one of those nights that just went well and it was fun. And yeah, that's up there. That's one of my favorite memories of that era. And I have very fond memories of sitting in a park getting fucked up, freestyling.
Yeah.
Like I would never want my kids to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they do the complete opposite of what I did with my youth, I will have succeeded.
Yeah.
But that being said, it was good fun.
Yeah. Shapes
who you are. Yeah.
Now this next one, Ben Martin wanted to know about this.
Benjamin Martin.
Maybe we have to hide some names just so some people don't get too upset. But all he wrote in the question box was shower shitters.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But yeah, apparently Ben's shit in the shower.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that was brought up, I had to ask. I was like, did he even have the audacity to waffle stomp it? But
it's only the polite thing to do.
Yeah.
You can't just leave it there.
That's what spun me out.
We're not animals.
When I worked up in the mines, right, there was some absolute heinous looking individuals up there, right? Like guys that I reckon if they walked past the gym, they would get muscle soreness, right?
Yeah.
And the cleaners, because everybody has dinner together and some people would go and have beers and stuff with everybody else, and they would constantly tell stories about shower shitters and they waffle stomp it down the drain. I'd never heard that term until I went up there.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking mortifying.
I know. Why would you? The toilet's like right there. They're always closed. It's like, no, I can't be bothered leaving this shower. Enjoying this too much.
That was such a confronting experience for me because I was coaching full time and I was down in New Zealand and my mate hit me up and he's like, do you want to make the easiest money you've ever made in your life? And all I was going to have to do was drive him around because he'd lost his license up on the mine site. It was just going to be me and him. And we get on very well, me and Adzi. And he threw a number at me and I was like, fuck, cunt, you've got me. I'm coming back on the tools.
Yeah.
So I went up there and when they took us to the mine site, right, this is up at Roxby, we went into the change rooms and it was a giant group showers.
Oh,
and I like looked at him and I was like, bro, if you wanted to see my cock, you could have just asked. And we were mortified, bro, because it was some prison shit, eh?
Yeah.
Like you walked in, everyone's showering, and then there were just these blokes that everybody was so comfortable, right? And like, you know, like, I guess you get used to it, but like, I would literally be sitting here, put my shoes on, and then I'd watch my head, and there'd be this big fat bloke with a towel fanning his nuts from me to you away. Yeah. And I was mortified up there. And then, the waffle stomper, and they would shit in the showers.
Yeah, what? Oh, man, that's such an antisocial thing to do as well, like a shared shower. Like if it's your own personal shower, like you do you know what I mean? Like you have to live with that smell.
Yeah.
But it's like someone else has got to use this shower and I'm going to shit in it. That's unacceptable behaviour.
They were saying that the guys that would do it were that fat. It's because, and they couldn't reach to wipe.
Yeah, right.
So they would just...
So it's a hygiene thing.
Bro, so like... It was mind-boggling, eh?
Oh, man.
But,
that's the last fucking dude you want to shit in your shower too. Someone who's so fat he can't wipe his own ass. Oh, that's going to be a terrible shit.
Those they call them dungers. I don't know fucking why. It's some fucking weird mining fucking term, but it's a cabin, right?
Yeah.
They're not that big, bro. If you can't wipe your own ass, I don't know how you get in that fucking shower, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Well, that's probably a good place to end it. Yeah. You got your shower shitter story, I got mine.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to get you on, bro, because, like I said, growing up, coming across all these people, and then, you know, it was a trip for me when I worked out you were the dude that I used to listen to on that gold iPod. And my mate, he actually messaged me the other week, and he still got it. It's like, you remember the first iPod minis, no colour screen, this gold thing. So he's still
spin the thing and
yeah. And there'd be so many old school classic tracks on there, and his folder of yours was huge. I remember we used to listen to it all the time, and it's a trip, and you've got some of the funniest bars, you know. Like I said the other night when I put that thing up, and there was like Gary Glitter's Hard Drive and shit like that.
Yeah, we used to do like, on our, I reckon it was on our first album, or maybe it was a demo tape. There was this song called Deviated Preverts. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. It was just like, let's write the most offensive fucking thing we can possibly write. And we put it out, and the amount of people who were into that was worrying. And
there's a common theme, I feel like, eh?
Girls too, who were like, yeah, fucking, and I was like, oh no.
No thanks. No. There seems to be a common theme with people that are into that era of music. It's like, I don't know whether maybe it's because the internet popped off and we all got to explore a little bit.
Some of the things that the internet caused over the years is I won't say any names. Well, what a story to end on. Let's cut that one off.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, man.
Oh fuck, that's so funny.